Hi everyone, and welcome to our video about different types of articles. Now that we've developed our skills in news writing, we should be able to tell a news story from other types of articles. This will be very useful when writing newsletters because the best newsletters contain a range of article types. So what do you think are the key differences between news stories and feature articles? In a moment, I'll show you a breakdown of the key differences, but why not first pause the video and note down any initial thoughts you have about it? Think about aspects of content, style, and level of detail. Here's the overview of the key differences. Do any of them chime with what you wrote? Why not pause the video and note down some of the points or take a screenshot for your notes? Hopefully you can see that the way I chose to represent news stories and features visually wasn't random. While news stories are very straightforward, tightly structured and neutral, feature articles can be seen as containing more colour, more detail and more warmth. Bearing in mind what we've just explored about news stories and feature articles, I'd like you to do a task. As always, remember that you'll reinforce your learning much better if you resist the temptation to just let the video keep playing and instead pause it and spend a little time on the task. Remember our list of potential article topics from last week? Last week we decided which of these would work best as news stories. Now I want you to think about which would work better as a feature article than a news story. If you took the time to do the related task in the news writing video, you should find this task much more straightforward. So how did you get on? I hope you noticed that the topics fall neatly into the two categories. If a topic is suitable for a news story, it isn't suitable for a feature article, and vice versa. An in-depth analysis of the performance of a business over time would work great as a feature article. Rather than being breaking news or time limited, it allows for the detail and analysis that are characteristic of a feature article. The writer could include anecdotes about key moments in the business's development, for example. A profile of a key player in a business or community group would also work great as a feature article. The writer could take a number of different approaches to this, like an interview with the person, asking them for their opinions on things, what they care most about, little anecdotes of key moments in their career, and so on. Or they could ask a range of other people to describe how they see the person, what differences they have made to their lives, and so on. You can hopefully see that the possibilities with feature articles are much wider. With news stories, you can make choices about the angle, yes, but with feature articles, the range of ways in which you can be flexible is much wider. I'd like you now to carry out a news and feature identification task. Go to your favourite news website. This could be either the website of a newspaper that is also distributed in hard copy, or it could be a news provider that exists purely online. If you don't have a favourite, just pick one randomly. Identify one news story and one feature, and think about and maybe note down what the differences between them are. It should be very easy to find one of each because newspaper websites tend to categorise the different types of articles under their relevant headings or links. Here's the table again with the key differences between the two types of article. See if you can identify some of these specific aspects when reading through your chosen articles. The variety in types of articles in newspapers and news websites doesn't stop at news stories and feature articles. You will also find opinion pieces. Whereas a feature article will explore a topic, an opinion piece will provide a firm opinion or take on it. News providers often have regular columns where the same person will write an opinion piece for every edition. The writers are often people whose ideological stance or political stance fits with the stance of the news provider, Though sometimes news providers mix it up a bit by inviting a columnist who challenges the position, and thus the position or expectations of readers. In addition to individual opinion pieces or regular opinion columns, most news providers include an editorial in each edition of their paper or web offering. In this section, the editor provides a summary of the coverage for that week or other relevant period, and usually an opinion or view of what is covered, and or a prioritisation of the most important content. The editorial sometimes appears in the form of a letter from the editor. I'd like you now to do another task. Staying on the same news website as you were using before, check whether it contains either some opinion pieces or an editorial or both. Have a quick read through one or two of these and try to identify what it is about the piece that makes it opinion rather than news or feature. You will probably notice, for example, that the word choices are more persuasive or emotive than those used for news and features. Pause the video while you check this out. I hope you've enjoyed this short video about different types of articles. It really does make sense to make use of this variety in any newsletters that you write. Newsletters are a relatively short and brief genre, so you won't be making use of the full length and complexity in the way that you would be if you were a journalist writing for a newspaper, for example. But the different approaches can bring a nice variety to any newsletter. In the next video, we'll talk specifically about newsletters, and we'll explore some advice and guidance about how to structure them, the types of articles to put in them, which will include articles of the types we've looked at here and some others. See you in the next video.